What's up guys, I'm Caden with Crypto Now or Never and welcome back to another Turbo update. If you enjoy this style of content, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. As always, none of this is financial advice. Let's get into it.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want.
Okay, so if we just start out by taking a quick look at Turbo, you can see that Turbo is currently at a $115 million market cap. And if you just look at Turbo from a technical analysis standpoint, you can see that like the last 5 or 6 candles in a row have been red. So you can see that Turbo's really just been bleeding over the last week or so. Now, to be clear, a big reason for that is because the overall market has been bleeding. You can see that Bitcoin has bounced a little bit. It's back up to 94,600. And I'll actually go over technical analysis in just a second, but if you look at Bitcoin from a technical analysis standpoint, you can see that it was retesting the CME gaps. It filled the 96K CME gap. However, we have not filled the 92 gap yet. You can see that we wicked basically to the very top of it, but we haven't actually filled it. So I just want to start off by saying, do understand that there's a chance Bitcoin drops down to 92,000. Obviously, it could go even lower than that, but that's where the CME gap would fill. As I said, though, I'll go over a little bit more technical analysis at the end of the video. But if we look at Turbo from a technical analysis side of things, you could argue that we're still just forming another falling wedge. I constantly point this out in my Turbo videos, but over the last few months, we've seen constant falling wedges. We got this initial falling wedge, which led to a very strong breakout. But other than this one, a lot of the other falling wedges have had much smaller breakouts. But they do usually break out and then they go into a lower falling wedge. The only reason that this falling wedge doesn't look as clean right now is because of the flash crash. You can see that we had this giant red candle in the middle of the falling wedge. But other than that, you could argue that we're just forming yet another one. So personally, what I'd be watching for Turbo is to see if price action breaks to the upside or to the downside. I'm watching these trend lines. Now, if we come over to CoinMarketCap and we actually take a look at the meme coin market, you can see that obviously a lot of memes have been bleeding. You can see that Pepe, as an example, is down to just over a $2 billion market cap. It's gotten absolutely hammered. It's down 19% over the last week. But if you scroll down, you can see that Turbo is currently the 270th largest crypto. And Turbo is actually down 22.6% in the last week. But to be honest with you, this is in line with a lot of other projects. You look right above it, down 44%, down 10.2%, 24.2%, 15.5%. Right beneath it, you do have a project that's up, but then you have down 25.6%, 18.2%, 25.06%. So it's not like Turbo's the only project getting hammered. Again, I want to be clear about that. I get questions all the time asking me, oh, but why is Turbo bleeding? Or why is this certain project bleeding? You have to understand overall market conditions. If you look at the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, we are still at extreme fear right now. Yes, we did bounce a little bit from yesterday. Yesterday, we were all the way down at 10. But even right now, we are still at 14 in extreme fear. This tells you right now how scared people are of the market. And if you scroll down a little bit, you can see that we have not actually seen 10 on the Fear and Greed Index since February. It has been a very long time since people have been this scared in the market. And in general, 10 is very rare to see. Historically speaking, it has almost always been profitable to buy the fear in crypto. But if we come back over here to Turbo, you can see that Turbo's volume is still very good. We've actually seen a very nice spike. You can see that Turbo's volume is 28.8 million, but it's up 135% in the last day. And you can see that a lot of the volume is still coming from HTX, 13.1%. That's higher than the Turbo USDT pair on Binance. That's only 6.34%. So HTX is doing very well for Turbo. Now, if we head over the Turbo X account, you can see that they're just under 112,000 followers, and they actually just posted 1 minute ago. Art creating art. The Turbo spirit is sculpting its own legacy, one masterpiece at a time. And then they posted 6 hours ago, knowledge is power, the only way forward is together. Dive into the ethos of the Turbo community. I know a lot of people right now want to see some super bullish news, they want to see new listings, etc. But I cannot stress enough, bullish news right now is not going to lead to a breakout. I'm not saying it won't lead to a decent little move, but when market conditions are this bad, it's not going to lead to a breakout. And regarding market conditions, I do want to be clear. We are seeing market conditions constantly improve. We know that quantitative tightening is coming to an end on December 1st. We've also had consecutive rate cuts, and there are many rumors of quantitative easing potentially starting. So I would expect conditions to get better. But as we stand right now, we do not want to see any super bullish news because it's just not going to matter that much. Now, as I said, I do quickly want to take a look at Bitcoin. And I just want to continue to get the point across that Bitcoin on the larger time frames does not look bad. I know a lot of people just want to sit here and talk about how we're heading into a bear market. I understand. Based on previous 4-year cycles, yeah, that would make sense. But simply if you just look at like the weekly time frame on Bitcoin, we have extremely oversold stochastics right now, and we have a strong Class A bullish divergence. Price action is swinging up into a higher low, the RSI is swinging down into a lower low. Again, Class A bullish divergence. You look at the extremely oversold stochastics. What happens every time we have extremely oversold stochastics? Extremely oversold right here, very strong breakout. breakout, extremely oversold, very strong breakout, extremely oversold, very strong breakout. I could just continue going through Bitcoin's history and you'll see the same thing pretty much every single time. Even the depths of the bear market, we usually have a very strong breakout with oversold stochastics. I'm not saying it's always a massive breakout, but you usually get at least some sort of a bounce. So even if we are heading into a bear market, I would first look for price action to put in a lower high. If we do see price action put in a lower high, then yeah, it'll absolutely be time to reevaluate. But as we stand right now, the weekly looks good other than the fact that we lost the 50 weekly moving average. But if you come over here and you look at the 2-week, we're in a very similar situation. So even the 2-week looks good. You can see that the 2-week also has a class A bullish divergence and the stochastics are oversold. But I will say on the 2-week, it is also possible that we would come down and retest the 50 weekly moving average. So don't be shocked if that happens. But again, in general, right now, we're still in a very clear macro uptrend. Is it possible that we're heading into a bear market? Of course. But don't be shocked at all if we do get a bounce as well. But honestly, that's about all I have for you guys today. Just understand where we're at from an overall market standpoint. As always, though, I recommend coming over and taking a look at my Discord, especially if you guys are interested in turbo and just market updates in general. So if this is the kind of community that you'd like to be a part of, you can find the link right here on my YouTube homepage. I'd love to have you guys in here with us. But that's about all. Let me know down in the comments how you guys are feeling about Turbo. If you enjoyed this content, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day.